Back, Coach Jason James on the radio with us. Skyhawk men set to play Friday at Louisville. How about that? Then go to Ohio on Sunday. Before we talk about the opening to the season, Coach, a lot of the fans were there Friday, Character Counts event. Great picture of you at UTMsports.com. I don't know if you've seen that, but you were firing up the school kids, and that was a great picture.
I have seen that. That was a pretty good picture. I didn't know they got that one, but that was exciting.
You went over Webster 90-72. Not an easy win. Webster, a pretty good basketball team.
Man, they made a bunch of shots, especially early, and they were able to hang around because they were making shots. Some of them contested, some of them uncontested, but a very good basketball team.
You go back and watch the game film. What'd you see, Coach?
I saw a lot of bad, not much good. But that's how it is early. I mean, we knew we weren't going to be as good as we can be, and so there are a lot of things we got to clean up. We got to contain the basketball a little better. We've got to get out the shooters a little better and make them shoot over our outstretched hands. A lot of times they got clean looks, and this is college basketball, and at any level, guys can make open shots. So that's something that's got to change. And those are probably the things that stuck out the most, that and rebounding. I mean, those three things, we got to clean that up very, very quickly.
I know watching you on the sideline, I mean, you were really having to get into it and might have been a little frustrated. I'm thinking from the sideline, this could be a good thing happening to them right now because Coach can say, see, I told you so. I mean, you can't give this much space between you and the shooter or they're going to punish you.
Oh, I mean, there's been a lot of I told you so moments to this point in our season. I think when you get new players coming in, and even some of the old players, they have a hard time adjusting to the level, and they have a hard time adjusting to the new coaching. I mean, those guys they've been coached the same way for 4 years, and some of them only 2 years, but they've been coached a different way than they're being coached now. So there's a little resistance, and it's not I'm a bad kid resistance. It's just, hey, man, this is the way I've always done it. It's going to be hard to change. And so I knew it was coming, but there's been a bunch of, hey, I told you guys it was going to come, and there'll be a bunch more moving forward.
And that's sometimes the best thing that can happen to you to get your players to buy into you and the system.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's any question about it. I always look back to last year's game, and people ask me, what was the game that really got us going? And to me, it was Tennessee Tech in the triple overtime game, even though we lost. But that was the game our guys finally saw, hey, man, Coach is kind of smart. Coach is not an idiot. I mean, he knows what's going on. And then we were able to move forward. So there's going to be some growing pains here with these guys and the return guys, get to mesh with the new guys. But the core talent is there. We just got to try to build it and keep it moving.
You know, it's amazing to me that you mentioned that game and that you remember that, because I think after our post-game interview, when it was over, you told me that. You said, I saw something in the locker room I haven't seen all season.
Yeah, I mean, that was,
you knew.
That was the game. And if you want to point to one game last year that got us moving in the right direction or kind of got us over the hump, it was that game. I mean, if you remember that game, it was such a wide range of emotions. We were up early, and then we went down 16 with about 8 or 9 minutes left in the basketball game. We called a timeout. We had the conversation with them, hey, guys, it's kind of up to you how you want this thing to end. And then it just clicked. We went on about a 13-0 run, and we got it to 2, and back and forth, had our chances of winning in regulation and then in the first couple overtimes. But after that game, you could see in their eyes, okay, Coach, we're ready now. Okay, we're ready to do what you need us to do now. And again, that game was in January. I mean, it was a long time in our season. So it's going to be a process, and we know that, and we're okay with that. We'll be here for the whole process.
This may be a ridiculous question, but I've seen some of your practices, and they are as intense as a practice can be. And I mean, you're really fighting each other, and you're building that camaraderie and that competition. Are the practices sometimes more competitive and more intense than the games?
I mean, they should be.
Okay.
Yeah, they should be. The wise man once said that practices are for coaches and games are for players. And in practice, it's my job to make it as competitive an environment as possible. Practices should be very, very difficult. That's kind of like my classroom. That's where I can teach. That's where I can scold if you're not doing the right thing. That's where I can discipline. I can't do that in the games. In the games, it's time for our guys to play. If we have to discipline you in the games, then we didn't do our job in practice. So the idea is to make practices a ton harder than games ever will be. We want our guys to look forward to the games as if to say, man, we're glad to play in this game because practice is so hard. And some days it's like that, and other days it's not. But that's the idea. We want it to be that competitive every day.
Okay, makes sense. Coach, I want to look at the box score and talk about some of the newcomers. We know Libo and Amari and Troy King and Chris Richardson and Dane. Let's talk about Miles Taylor. 17 points, 8 rebounds, got to the free throw 11 times, knocked down 9 against Webster. I'm a fan already.
Yeah, he's a big, active cat. I mean, he can bounce around a little bit. He competes and plays hard. And Miles comes from winning. I mean, he knows what it takes to win, and he plays that way. He plays like he wants to win, and he's got a long way to go. He's got to get more efficient offensively, but man, he's got all the talent to be as good as he wants to be.
He really does.
Yeah, he does.
I don't know. I'm trying to compare. I always like comparing our new players early in the season to some of the players we've had in the past, and I don't even know who to compare him to because I think he potentially, as a post player, could be in a league of his own.
A lot of fans didn't get a chance to see him very often, but I would compare him to David Wilkerson.
Yes.
David hurt his knee.
A terrible knee injury.
They didn't get a chance to see him, but David had great pace to his game, and he's probably a little more skilled than Miles is, but they both shoot it the same.
But when he came in, he was a transfer. He played college ball.
He played 2 years of junior college basketball. That's correct.
Yeah.
Their bodies the same. They move the same. Miles probably a little more athletic. Miles probably a little tougher than David was, but they can both step out and make a shot. And he'd probably be the one I'd compare him to the most if I had to do it.
That's a good one. Let's talk about Eli York, who had 21 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 assists in the game.
Yeah, I mean, Eli, he played really well. I mean, he hadn't really played that well in practice. It's been kind of up and down, but I think when he got into the game for the first time since he's been here, he relaxed. He kind of loosened up a little bit. He was able to get some rebounds, get some easy baskets early. That helped his confidence, and then he could step out in the short corner and make one here, make one there, and all of it just kind of just started rolling for him from there. So the biggest thing that impressed me the most about Eli was that he was relaxed, that he just kind of played. Up until that point, he hadn't done that. But now he's just kind of relaxing and playing. It made all the difference.
I hadn't been to a lot of your practices, but watching him play, I thought, I hadn't seen him do this in practice.
Yeah, I mean, it just kind of...
he was having fun. He had a lot of energy. He was doing all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, he was bouncing around the rim, which is kind of why we brought him here, and he was very active. And so it was good to see the real Eli. I don't think in practice we've seen the real Eli, but in the game we have.
Macklin's numbers weren't that great. He's got a ton of potential with this team, though.
Boy, he's long, he's rangy, and he can move. We just got to get him to stop fouling, which has kind of been a big problem for all of our post guys.
And then Martez Harris with 10 points and had 3 rebounds in the game. It was fun for me to watch him make his first shot, and then you could almost see his facial expression say, okay, I belong here. I can do this.
Yeah, Martez is one of those guys who he wears his emotions on his sleeve now. I mean, he's a very fiery type player, very intense. He'll compete with anybody, and when he made that first one, it was kind of that I'm here, I'm arrived, I got that first one out of the way, now let's play.
Do you know going into the Louisville game right now who the starters might be, or is it still up in the air?
I don't have any idea.
I knew you were going to say that.
I don't have any idea.
Because this team's going to be a little tricky.
It could be. It could be tricky. It could be different every day. We just got so many guys, and they kind of determine who's going to start every day in practice. And so today was good. Tomorrow's off. We'll see what happens Wednesday and Thursday.
Okay, let's open the season up at Louisville. All right.
Okay.
Let's jump right in head
first.
If
you'd like to, we will.
Yeah. We played them before. And what a great, the Yum Center. Have you been to the Yum Center?
I've seen it, but never been inside of it.
Yeah, we were there with the women's team last year.
They say it's an unbelievable
facility.
place.
Yeah. Well, last time, I guess we were at Freedom Hall when we were there the last time. But this is a Louisville team. Coach Pitino has certainly, a storied Louisville team and franchise tradition when you go back to Denny Crum in the 80s and Never Nervous Purvis and all those guys. And Pitino's kind of taken it in a different direction, but a very successful direction.
Yeah, I mean, I think when it comes to basketball coaches and basketball programs, Coach Pitino and Louisville are right up there at the top. I mean, I think he gets his guys to play hard. He gets them to play the right way. They can run a bunch of different things. I mean, just the whole overall way he runs his program. I mean, look at what he's done in his past. Mm-hmm. He's taken 4 teams or 3 teams to the Final Four. I mean, that's hard to do. So I think when you play Louisville, you're playing one of the best, not only coaches, but also one of the best programs in the country.
And I think you expect the intensity out of your team, like he expects the intensity out of his teams. You're not as intense as he is on the sideline.
Well, I would agree.
Completely, because he's always yelling and hollering. You are too, just in a different way.
Yeah, I mean, there's different styles, but yeah, he is into it.
But you teach that aggressiveness that he teaches his players.
We try to. A lot of the things that we do is from watching him and his program. I wouldn't say that we try to emulate his program, but there's some philosophies that we try to use and some different types of techniques that we try to use, teaching techniques, motivational techniques that we try to use, that he's used that have been successful for him. And so there's a lot of things that he does that I really admire. I mean, there aren't a lot of people in the country in this business who I would just say that I've got just the utmost respect for, but he's definitely one of them, just because of what he's been able to do at every place he's been. It's very impressive to me.
That's very cool. That'd be nice to have them on the schedule. I go back with Rick way back to when he was the Knicks coach, when he was coming out of college and they weren't supposed to be very good, and he took them a long way in the playoffs.
Yep. I remember that.
Pre-Pat Riley.
I remember that, and he learned from the great Hubie Brown a little bit.
That's right.
And he was with Boston, and he trained Jim O'Brien, who ended up taking Boston and then Indiana. I mean, I think that says a lot about a coach, not only what he can do with the program, but the guys that have worked under him and what they've done.
Jeff Van Gundy worked under Rick Pitino.
Billy Donovan, who's back-to-back national. Tubby Smith won a national championship. Herb Sendek. I was at NC State, now Arizona State. I mean, I think that says a lot about a person, about how he can teach other people to be great also.
What do you need to do in a situation where you're facing that kind of athlete?
Go to church. Probably the first thing we'll do on Thursday night. Try to find some service somewhere.
No, I was talking to Coach McNamara earlier, though. Unlike any other sport, basketball is made for the upset.
I mean, I don't know if it's made for the upset, but I think it happens a lot more often in basketball. I think because you can control tempo, and we talked about this the other day. In football, it's hard because there's isolated matchups all over the field. If you got a great wide receiver who's playing against a corner, you can throw to that guy all day, and there's nothing the corner can do. Whereas in basketball, it's 5 guys on 5 guys. Even if you got great players, that player can be neutralized by the other 4 players.
Right.
And so I think it happens more often in basketball because of that, because you talk about controlling tempo and you talk about good shot, great shot. In football, it's hard to control the tempo because if you can't run the ball, you're not going to control anything.
That's right.
And those front 4 guys up there determine that. And so I think you see it more in basketball than any other sport because of that.
Okay, join us on Friday, the Skyhawks at Louisville. Sunday, the men's team plays at Air Force. Coach, thank you so much.
Thanks, Chris.
That's Coach Jason James. Go to utmsports.com on the World Wide Web for more information on all the sports. And again, congratulations to the soccer team on the Ohio Valley Conference Tournament Championship. They're going to the big dance. For the gang, I'm Chris Brinkley. So long, everybody, and thanks for tuning in.